Welcome to everybody who came today. I am going to speak on behalf of our President, Dr. Sarah Abdel-Jalil. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us today because her father had passed away, as we all know. Professor Ibrahim Abdel-Jalil was an eminent professor of economics at the University of Khartoum. He was also a minister at the government after the revolution in Sudan. He was a Democrat and a prominent person. Also, we have lost some of our members, like Dr. Muhammad Hamour, who was a prominent member of this association or society, and Dr. Al-Fatih Ali Hassan, who is a member of the Executive Council of the Sudanese Doctors Union, Sudan. We pay tribute to all of them, and we start our meeting by welcoming you here. Distinguished guests, like the Professor David Walker, who's with us today. We have Marcus Wotton, who's going to join us later, and Simon Cathcart. As you can see, our theme today is healthcare development, partnership, and collaboration. And as you go along the meeting, you can see a lot of evidence of collaboration and partnership. Now, also, just a brief history of our organization, which established in 1976. Some of the establishing members actually are sitting in this room. Well, we're very glad to have them here, like Dr. Ahmed Abbas and Mr. Ali Noor Jalil. And they were instrument people in establishing our organization. And our organization is founded on democracy, which we are very proud of. We are independent, and we are transparent. We pay tribute to Dr. Muhammad Hamour, a piece of music written by Dr. Ali Noor Jalil, sitting in the audience. And it's called Memory with Muhammad Hamour.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It is with great pleasure that I open the fundraising today, and we will be raising money for Cheshire Home. For those who are not familiar with it, it is a charity that supports children with disabilities. And of course, we can't talk about the charity without mentioning Mr. Abdulrahim Mohammed Ahmed, who has dedicated many years of his life in supporting the charity. And he performed around more than 400 operations during that time. And we are very lucky today to have 3 of his grandchildren with us, who are Victor Basil Osman Hassan, who's a rheumatology registrar. We have Reem Jasir Farouk, who's a QC barrister, and Ala Ihab Abdulrahim, who's a law student. So thank you very much for coming. I visited, with my visit to Sudan, I went to Cheshire Home and visited with my children. And the state of the home was actually heartbreaking. They had a long list of needs. And we are relying on your support today to help as much as you can. They were very welcoming, and they offered to put on a talent show by the children. Unfortunately, my visit was a bit short and I couldn't attend, but hopefully, inshallah, in the future. Our event today will be led by our children, so they have a fundraising event in the library, which is just on the left side here. So please feel free to visit and please support them as much as you can. And I will pass you on now to Yasmin Sultan, who has a short presentation about the home itself and about what the activities they have for us today.
This project later became the Lenin Cheshire Disability, which we know of today. This supports over 50 countries, and within that, 200 independently managed partner organisations, one of which being Sudan, which opened in 1973. This branch offers services to children and young people such as physiotherapy, school, rehabilitation and surgery, which was opened in 2002. In August this year, my mother and I visited this branch in Khartoum, and we were shocked by what we saw. As you can see from the pictures, there are barely functioning appliances, holes in the walls, and overall not a good living space for young people trying to recover from their disabilities. What we propose to do is provide much as from this list you can see as possible. This list was given to us by one of the ladies working in the charity. We hope to improve the lives of the lovely people we have the pleasure of meeting. Our fundraising today, for it we have many activities planned such as a book sale, cake sale and a raffle. And many opportunities to donate. If you see a large bucket, please don't be afraid to just put a little bit of money in, as this will go to the charity.
He also worked at Cheshire Home, as we've seen, in a charitable capacity, providing care and treatment for the most needy children with congenital anomalies, cerebral palsy, polio, children of the lesser God. Despite his high integrity, professionalism, and decisiveness, he was very witty with high sense of humor. Mr. Abdrahim's legacy remained in the stream of young orthopedic surgeons who are providing services in most towns and cities in Sudan, who have been inspired, trained, and molded by the relentless efforts of a formidable man. He was a real maverick. Would you please join me in applauding and celebrating the lifelong achievement and legacy of this man?
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you very much for those words. Really pleased to have Mr. Abdrahim's children, family, friends, and really proud to see that you're following your father's, grandfather's footsteps, Basil, and down there with Law as well, Reem and Ala. Well done. Have a few pictures here, photos of Mr. Abdrahim and his family. Am I right in thinking that's you? Yeah? Okay. And that's Maisa, a close friend, Mr. Abdrahim's daughter, another doctor as well. And Ihab Abdrahim, doctor, classmate, and friend of mine. So yeah, thank you very much, Ahmed, for those words. Ahmed, we would like to, if you can come back here again, and Basil, Reem, and Ala, would you come up here as well? We'd just like to offer you a tribute of recognition of all the hard work and dedication, commitment by your grandfather from the SDU UK members.
Actually, we started our group of pathology as an office of the BSAMS, the British Sudanese Academic Medical Society, and it was just called the pathology group or the pathology arm. Later on, we thought of changing the name to the Sudanese Diaspora Group after the association with the Royal College. Yeah, we started by collecting books and journals from colleagues in UK, and we managed to send a few to Jazeera University. Actually, even it was a simple effort, but it really cost us a lot to find liaison there, how to transport the book. The logistics were really painful, but in the end we managed to achieve our goal. A few of our members took part in workshops, seminars and lectures, mainly histopathology and microbiology. These workshops were organized by us on on individual basis, sometimes in collaboration with the local pathology societies in Sudan. Our plan is to extend and broaden. This is as far as histopathology is concerned, but microbiology also shows some interest in joining in these lectures. We hope to broaden our lectures to cover cities outside Khartoum, invite more speakers worldwide, not necessarily from UK, and use of the model in Sudan medical curricula for distance teaching of pathology courses. We can carry mock exams. And this model, as I said, the microbiology people, probably other disciplines in pathology, maybe, and other disciplines of medicine as well, might be interested in sharing.
SAS UK, as I said, Surgical Specialties Society, which is a branch of SAS Sudan, and also the specialties included, but as expected, they branch out of the main stem once they develop the requirements, and that requirement definitely is a number, and similar to what happened here in UK and in Sudan. In UK, it's still not that very clear that subspecialties are actually forming their own. Like, there's a very good number of orthopedic surgeons, spinal surgeons, but still they didn't actually form that sort of like subspecialty group on their own. There's always that cooperation between the surgeons of other subspecialties like radiology, anesthesia, and pathology, and the rest. So the Sudan Association of Surgeons, well established for many years, and subspecialties, they came out of it, like urology, gastroenterology, interestingly, is actually involved medicine and surgery, which is very good. Orthopedic surgery is now completely a different society in Sudan. Plastic surgeons, pediatric surgeons, and more of them are coming out of the main SAS Sudan. That created a little bit of difficulty in attending conferences because they will invite for a number of them. And people find it sometimes difficult. Before it used to be one conference, and now there are a number of them per year or every 2 years. The Sudan Medical Specialization Board, the MSB, actually benefited a lot from the training, the teaching, especially in some of the subspecialties in Sudan, which they don't have a lot of members to teach all the registrars and even to teach in the medical colleges. Like, for example, naming vascular surgery. They don't have a lot, so they require a number of vascular surgeons from UK or from other countries to come and share and teach their group there. And they welcome that very much. Teaching in the Faculty of Medicine, obviously, as you know now, we have loads and loads of faculties and colleges of medicine, actually beyond now actually counting them. But all obviously are open for people to go and teach on them. But the Faculty of Medicine actually benefits for a long time from the teaching of the surgeons coming from UK. And obviously the other colleges of medicine, and especially hospitals. A lot of the surgeons, they go there either they teach or they train in these different hospitals in Khartoum.
What we know is that we have about 28 subscribing members who are paying their subscription annually by standing orders. So, like I said, it's a small group and a fairly young group. And when I reflect on our achievements in the last 10 years, there's 4 main themes. One is building capacity in Sudan, and that's including involving training and education, and improving the image of psychiatry as a specialty, and the Mental Health Act in Sudan, and the MTI, and I'm going to talk about each of them in more details. So what would be the best value for our efforts? And we thought of, you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. You teach him how to catch fish, he will eat for the rest of his life. So we thought rather than us going and seeing patients or doing clinics, why don't we focus on training the people who are treating people there in Sudan? And that will be more cost effective and added value. So that was about the conferences. We are also a founding member of the Diaspora Group in the Royal College of Psychiatry. The Diaspora Group is a group that brings together doctors, psychiatrists from overseas origins. So Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladesh, Arab, the Iraqi, Iranians, and other organization from Ghana, and some other, and Sudanese Association. We're a founding member of that group, And it becomes very powerful within the Royal College itself. And those people here know about the MTI program, yeah, Medical Training Initiative. It started in other specialties long time ago, before us. So we persuaded the Royal College to join the MTI and to start an MTI program in psychiatry. And in short, what it is, it's a program designed to bring overseas doctors to train in the UK for 2 years. Something similar to the overseas doctors training scheme in the past. I'm sure many of us here will remember it. Right, the third thing that we feel that we have achieved is the Mental Health Act. Now, I assume that everybody here knows about the section. You know what the section means. Those working in the NHS, when they say somebody's section, yeah? That is the Mental Health Act. That's the act that will give the society the power and authority to bring somebody with mental illness put them into hospital for treatment. Now, Sudan has been a pioneer in psychiatry in Africa. I don't know how many of you would know that the first psychiatric outpatient in Africa was opened in Sudan, in Khartoum North, in 1951 by Professor Dial Mahi after he went back from the UK. And by the way, Professor Dial Mahi was the first sub-African psychiatrist to qualify in the UK in 1949. However, we lag behind. We didn't have a Mental Health Act, although if you look at most of the countries around us, like Ethiopia, Uganda, Nairobi, Kenya, and other countries, Egypt, they have a Mental Health Act. We didn't. So we thought that's something that we need to work about. There was in 1997 an attempt by Al-Qadi Al-Lob in Jazeera University in 1997, but it fizzled out and nothing happened. So we thought we'll try again, and with our colleagues we wrote the first Mental Health Act draft in 2013. We were joined by legal people, judges, lawyers from Sudan, and journalists, and other people who are interested. And we campaigned with our colleagues for 5 years to have the Mental Health Act passed. And interestingly, we were met with fierce resistance from certain areas. And unfortunately, some of them were psychiatrists. They didn't want the Mental Health Act for one reason or another. Anyhow, we managed at last to have the Mental Health Act passed, and it was in April this year that it becomes a law. Now we are working with our colleagues to write the code of practice, which is to help the practitioners in Sudan. Now you might argue, is it going to make a difference? I don't know. We know about the health service in Sudan, we know how things are bad, but at least it's there. If somebody needs it, it is there and it's available.